Rise, eternal dragon, and hear the wish of he who summons you!
I'd like a brand new Dragon Ball MOBA game.
What? Really? That's what you're gonna wish for? Alright man, that's not what I would wish for, but okay.
The year is 2025. The MOBA genre is a dying medium. You want to make a new Dragon Ball game, and you're also Bandai Namco. Quick, what do? That's correct, my child. You make Pokemon Unite, but with Goku. Welcome to Dragon Ball Gekishen Squadra, which is a title that I will not be repeating at all throughout the course of this video because it falls off my tongue horribly. And welcome to yet another bad anime game. Consider this the pilot episode for maybe actually trying to find some half-decent anime games in the troughs of absolute slop that has been poured into the eyes and ear holes of people over the last decade. I pray for the poor people of Japan who gleefully slurp up the arena fighter slop of the month, and I hope one day they can truly see the light and maybe try and play something actually good like Lego Batman. Before we get into what this game is, what it do, and how it be, if you like this series idea, then I'm stupid, so please tell me with the thumbs up or subscribe. Give me some metric with which to know if there's something being cooked here. Alternatively, if you are a Bitcoin billionaire, then it's time for those trickle-down economics, piggy. Open up, these videos are not free for you. So, a new MOBA game this year is not something I was anticipating, and almost like clockwork when it comes to anime games, the reviews for this game are extremely mixed, but let's dive into what we're dealing with here and how the game actually is before we make judgments by looking at reviews. Dragon Ball Unite is a 4v4 PvP game where you fly around, kill mobs to level up, take objectives and attack towers when they're vulnerable in order to eventually steal the enemy's Dragon Ball. That is the bare bones of it, and as far as MOBAs go, the game really could not be more simple. You'll start off in the classic MOBA tutorial, a single lane that under no circumstances will actually prepare you in any capacity for the gameplay you're about to experience. League of Legends does it, Pokemon Unite does it, Dota pretends to not do it because you can technically go other places in the map, but it all takes place on a single lane and it's Dota, so good luck buddy. It faces the tremendous conundrum that every MOBA game faces in the genre, because they're a type of game that tends to come with a lot of nuance and a bit of a learning curve, but God help me if there isn't a genre more likely to send you straight into the middle of the hellblender with barely the knowledge required to keep your willy out of the blades. This one is no different, and I get it, you don't want to overwhelm people, you want them to learn by doing, but as someone who has played MOBAs for about 20 years, I can just tell I am barely going to have a clue what is going on, but anyone else who is just here because they like Dragon Ball is going to get absolutely flattened by me. Regardless, the tutorial is done, time to jump into our first game. The roster of characters seems pretty half decent on this one. I can't pretend to know every single character I'm looking at, but I know that most of what I'm seeing, and I see the Bald Messiah, the undisputed strongest human being and king of the balds. The game works in two different lanes in a kind of tug-of-war situation. You can only attack at certain times and defend at others, and there's modifiers every game that might add more bushes or add little guys that give you a lot of XP if you kill them. So there's, generally speaking, literally always something happening. I've never really experienced this with a MOBA before. One that is so ADHD it does not allow you to spend even a second not key blasting or solar flaring something. As you can imagine, for someone who's been playing MOBAs for 20 years, playing their first match-made game, it went about as nuclear baby versus coffee bomb as you would imagine. It's cool though having the terrain blast to bits or going into cutscenes where you take out an enemy though. There are bigger kind of world bosses both teams can fight over, but I swear half the time I'm not actually certain what they do. Some just shoot at an enemy tower, but I'm kind of just getting them because I assume it's better to have them than not have them. And that's where one of the things of this game kind of comes into play, and that is visual clarity. There are plenty of times playing this game that I have absolutely no idea what is happening on screen. And I don't mean like I don't know these characters and their abilities well enough. I mean, there are like 7 different pop-ups taking up 2/3 of the screen whilst I'm in the middle of a fight that I am unable to see through. I'm mostly just praying that everyone else in the game is being flashbanged at the same time so it kind of balances out. But I could not imagine playing League of Legends whilst literally a quarter of the screen is filled with a PNG of a character screaming whilst I'm trying to live through a team fight. The monetization is actually pretty reasonable though. Somehow it costs like £8 for enough gems to buy like anywhere from 4 to 7 characters, and with the way the game progression works, upgrading the stars on your already owned characters to progress down a battle pass, I unlocked probably half a dozen characters in just a few hours of playing each of them once or twice. Admittedly, they are sectioned into tiers for some reason, so starting out you only get unlocked tokens for the lower tier characters, and then eventually as you move down the pass you get the medium, and then I think I managed to get like one higher tier one. But looking at the prices of everything, incredibly, I cannot believe I am saying this, it does seem like genuinely half decent value for money if this was a game that you got into. A couple bucks for a character is no biggie if you end up playing them for like 40 hours. But at the very least, it's good to know that you can get most of any character you want with only a few hours of just playing. Still though, this game is actually solid. If you love League of Legends or Dota, but want something casual like Pokemon Unite and happen to love Dragon Ball, it being 4-player, free-to-play game makes it definitely a winner if you're looking for a game to rock for like a week of you and your mates' lives. I played a bunch of characters and never really found one I didn't at least think was okay. However, you should probably be warned that if you're looking for any complexity in this game, you may be barking up the wrong tree. So, with the game being lane-based, I think it probably stands to reason that many of the League of Legends people, or the Dota 2 people, or the 7 guys who are still playing Heroes of the Storm, they would assume that you would run down the lane, fight the mobs to get XP, push enemies back, or fight and defeat them, and then try and destroy the towers when they're vulnerable. This is in fact not the strategy that appears to be optimal. Because there's nothing really stopping you from just waltzing up to a tower if it's been disabled for attack, what you end up running into is enemy teams just hiding, sitting in bushes or killing mobs on their side of the map, waiting for a moment and then just rushing in all at once onto a tower to try and see if any of them can get an attack off onto it to destroy it before your team even notices. But if you know that strategy, then what it turns into is just me camping on a tower that's disabled, waiting for the rats to come pouring out of the woodwork, and me attempting to defend it whilst my team attempts to do the same to them. You can't really fault people for trying to do something that works, but also it seems a bit off, like nobody is actually really engaging with the rest of the game, just these very, very specific mechanics. But since there's not minions that walk down lane, and there's nothing to stop backdooring, or there's nothing to deter people from doing this kind of rat strategy, it's just an entire map of neutral mobs. There isn't any NPC forces to prevent people sneaking in on the back door to destroy half your base. It just ends up being a weird management game of walking between both towers because you're the only person on your team that is even noticing what the enemy team are doing or trying to do, and there is no means of communication. Another big problem with the game, and funnily enough, the biggest reason that it's been getting so many poor reviews, and that is the problem with leaving the game. If anyone leaves the game at any point, the entire thing gets aborted. No bot taking over, no playing a man down, just aborted. So whether you were winning or losing, you're getting kicked back to the main menu. And this also can just be as, for instance, when the enemy is about to win by grabbing your Dragon Ball. You can completely negate the outcome of a game, lose no rank points, give the enemy team no rewards, and also there doesn't appear to be any punishment by hitting the dirtiest little Alt F4 at the right time. Now, I had a decent amount of rage quits over the course of playing. Someone dies a few times early on in the game, and then they go, nah, this is not for me, I don't want to play this game anymore. Thankfully, didn't have any ones that did it literally at the very last second to, stop themselves from losing. but I do think that it's a pretty fair enough problem for people to have. So if you're playing with friends and you're absolutely laying pipe, I would recommend pretending to win slightly less so that they don't leave and end up screwing you all out of your rewards. Beyond that though, there is one game mode as well called Land Grab, and it is genuinely probably the dumbest game mode I have ever seen for a game like this in my life. It is a single lane map with 3 points. All you have to do is hold as many as you can for as long as you can to get points. First team to 500 wins. All it is fighting constantly, which is completely fine. The queue times for it are probably longer than the games themselves, but I discovered that this game mode is so unbelievably unbalanced that once I realized how to win, even if via unscrupulous means, that it was basically impossible to lose. First game I played, we lost by 2 points somehow. After that, I realized that the capsules that hover around the corners of the map were literally the easiest way to win. I have no idea what they do, just that they send robots onto the 3 points, which then attack enemies whilst also capturing even if your team aren't there. So, literally start the game as normal, do a little bit of fighting, and then peel off towards the enemy spawn, snipe the capsules that they get on their side for yourself, and then just make yourself busy until such time as a capsule icon appears on your map and immediately gun it towards it as fast as you can. This genuinely is better than being a real teammate, and I wish I was kidding. As long as you're denying the enemy team from getting theirs up and having the same advantage you have, just overwhelm them with things on the map that capture if they're not there to stop it. I did basically nothing in this match except run around grabbing capsules and sneaking around throwing out some abilities here and there, and I got MVP, presumably for being part of 448 of the 500 points required to win, despite barely ever being near a fight. I decided to test this theory a little further and played an entire land grab without dealing a single point of damage, only running around after the capsules because I wanted to see what would happen. And yeah, no MVP this time, but still an unbelievably impressive scoreline of 0-0-0 and a total of 0 damage inflicted. The true pacifist strategy. Safe to say, this game mode probably isn't worth much of your time, and to be honest, the entire game itself probably isn't worth much to you if you're the kind of MOBA person who actually likes diving into numbers or seeing numbers at all. Stuff is just happening. Things are exploding, and ideally dopamine is being driven into your cranium as quickly as possible, but you don't get to see any of the things in the background. However though, for a free game, it's only a couple of gigs in size, and if you're bored with some mates, it could definitely fill a hole for an evening or two. Hilariously enough, this has been one of the better or best anime game experiences that I've had in years, and it's from a free MOBA of all things. And unless the monetization gets particularly predatory, which, let's be honest, it very much could, this potential little series starts off with a good game, provided that you're very specifically into this genre of video game or a mega fan of the series. But I mean, to be honest with you, like, that's fine. If you want to give this game a try, you should 100% give this game a try. But also, Majin Buu is incredibly overpowered. He is like the only character in the game that can heal other characters, which makes him unbelievably strong, so give him a try. Regardless though, thank you so much for watching. I'm kind of back, I guess. I had fevers and stuff for over a week. I think I'm past the part of it now. I had a doctor put a finger up my bottom, and I'm like about to have an enema today. But I'm pretty much ready to fire myself up and pave the way into a better future for anime gamers. So until next time, let me know what you think with the multitude of buttons you have at your disposal with likes, subs, etc. Let me know any other anime games you want me to try, good or bad. And most importantly, have a wonderful day. I'm going to try to never leave you for as long as I've left you again this time around. I've missed you all dearly. Thanks so much. See ya.